Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is Thursday night. Time for another episode of Thrifty Business. I'm your one host, Jason Thrifts, and with me tonight, I wasn't prepared. I was too busy dancing to my own song. With me tonight is my buddy Roy from the chilly this week, Pacific Northwest. Roy, how are you, brother?
Sure. I am wonderful. Just trying to get between the raindrops today, and at least it's raining and not snowing anymore.
You know, I living in Southern California and Vegas now for a long time. I've seen plenty of times where my mom and dad and my friends in Chicago have bad weather, but I've never seen in all my years this much bad weather and just this little sliver of Southern California to Vegas to Phoenix. That's it. That's the only place where there's nothing going on. Like nothing.
Just you in the triangle of heaven, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's always the case. All right, we got a great show tonight, and let's get our first segment going. Now it's time for Jay's Tiki Talk. Each week, I drink a different rum out of a different tiki mug and try and match it up to my guest. All right, and our guest this evening is my good friend Tena. Now, Tena, I got to give you a quick bio so the rum and the mug make sense. Okay, so Tena is on tonight because she started selling online like me way back in the day on a website called half.com, but she never made it to eBay until someone at an estate sale bet her that she couldn't sell this stuff on eBay. So in honor of the estate sale, I have Cruzon Estate Dark Rum. And then in honor of your selling on half.com, I have this kick-ass mug, but I'll just drink out of half of it for now.
That's awesome.
You like that, Roy? You like that?
Yeah, that's awesome. You told me you had a good idea for half.com.
Yeah. So this is two mugs that, when set together, make one mug. But I'll just drink out of half. So, Roy, what you got?
So I couldn't be nearly as creative, but I heard that our guest was from Tennessee, so the king is in the house. So
very nice.
Figured I'd bring my eldest mug to the party.
What's in the king?
So, what's in the king? Just a local beer called Irish Death. I know sacrilege, but I was just screaming from work before the show.
All right. And Tena, what do you got? Well, anything exciting tonight?
I got nothing yet. I'm going to get a glass of white wine.
Okay.
Just a minute.
All right. So Tena's going to tell her story because we've all started our online business for one reason or other. Sometimes it's out of boredom. Sometimes it's out of necessity. Sometimes it's because you don't want your job. I don't know anyone else who was bet to do it and did it and then crushes it. So that's what we're talking to Tena about. So Tena, relax, sit back, enjoy. And Roy and I are going to knock out some segments. Woohoo! Yes, I was going to fill just one of the halves, but I said, "Oh, screw it! I'll fill both." So they're both full. So I'll drink out of half now, and then half in a little bit. Oh, it's National Wine Day. All right, so
you don't want to have to get up in the middle of the show.
Yeah, true. All right, so speaking of, let's get the show going. And now it's time for our scores of the week. These are the items that you should be on the lookout for when you're out thrifting. And you are away, sir.
All right. So this is a score. If you guys notice this Kubota tractor manual, one thing that you want to keep an eye out for is any kind of manuals that are out there. And the reason this is a score is this was one of a lot of about 30 or 40 manuals that I picked up at an estate sale. I think we paid on the manuals anywhere from $2 to $5 for them, and that is actually one of the cheaper ones I sold. Most of them sold for around right around $100. So we even sold one that was only 23 pages long for a marine clutch, and it sold for almost $100. So always keep a lookout for those manuals. And this is a little bit of fun. I know we've had some previous guests on that sell fabric and sewing patterns and things of that nature. This is actually vintage fabric from the 90s that this company doesn't make this fabric anymore. And I've got about 20 yards of it, and at $27 a yard, and I sold 5 yards to one person. So pretty good score, and That's sourcing in my house because that was from a different era in my life, and I've had it for probably almost 20 years. So don't if your wife or somebody has a fabric obsession, do not walk past their fabric store or past their fabric room. And then and this is a fun one. Jason, have you ever played with old BMX bikes?
I haven't since I was a kid on them, but since then, yeah, I've got nothing to do with bikes.
Yeah, I actually decided to try to relive my childhood, and I actually found this GT Interceptor it was at a state or yard sale, and it was rough. So I spent the evening taking it apart, cleaning it up, and bundled it all together, threw it up on bids. And don't walk past those because I paid $10 for it, and it sold on bids for $355 and $50 shipping.
Wow, that is amazing! But that's not even amazing because this is amazing. What?
Did you? I don't know if you noticed, but if you look towards the bottom, this was for parts not working.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Woo! What? Did the customer notice? That's a real question.
The customer noticed, and I got a raving review even at $577 for it though. And then I think if I remember right, I put $100 shipping on it. And this is where if you're going to be selling big items, you better make sure you know how much it's going to cost, because it cost me $95 to ship this to the customer. So I didn't make much back on boxing. It was spending, but I found this at an estate sale. Actually, it wasn't even an estate sale. This is a prime example of why you take and make sure that you let people know what you do. Because I actually had a friend of mine that called me and said there was an estate that this guy was trying to liquidate. And of course, once I got the phone call, I was there about as quick as my car would take me. This was one of the items that I bought. I did have to pay up for it. I knew what he had. I ended up paying $225 for it, but I'll gladly spend $225 if I can make that kind of money.
So hang tight, Kathy. We may just have, I don't know, a shipping segment coming up that we're going to talk about that. Kathy's calling the home run. She's like, hey, all right.
There you go. Yeah, don't get ahead of us, Kathy.
Look, you may have sold this for almost $600, but look, I sold these dishes for $36. Now, that might not seem like a big deal compared to what Roy just showed us, but what I wanted to demonstrate in this one, and this, of course, wasn't one of my biggest things of the week, but this is all I had. Now, these Coke dishes are not that uncommon, and I didn't have a matching set of anything. I had 4 dishes, like 6 or 7 bowls, and only 1 coffee mug, but someone wanted it. So don't think that if you don't have a whole matching set that you can't sell them. And I didn't want to waste time screwing around trying to sell one here or a couple there. Like just put them all together, one lot, and away they went. So you don't have to have matching sets. Matching sets aren't bad, but if you don't have them, doesn't mean you're not going to sell it. All right, this is one of those things where I'm like, has to be nothing. This is junk. It was about this tall. And luckily, I asked in the thrifting board. I don't know if you ever heard of the thrifting board, Roy. It's this great thrifting group where you can get all kinds of free help. And right away, a bunch of people told me what it was. And I'm like, oh, sweet. So this little tiny vase. So the average was $35, and I got $33.62. But as you can see, it sold in AU, meaning I sold it directly on eBay Australia. So it's on its way to Australia.
Can't beat that.
Now, and being a guy who's into cocktails and drinks, hold please. Anytime we're into something, when we thrift, we pick up extras. Well, I got so many bar utensils and tools that this has been sitting around for a couple of years. I never opened it because when I buy things that are sealed, I never open them until the day I need them. And I looked at it the other day. I'm like, okay, I've got everything in there times 7 behind my bar already. I don't need this. Put it up, sold within the same day for $32. Boom, gone. And I got it at Savers for like $3, I think. And lastly, I've been sorting about 3,000 Viewmaster reels that I paid $400 for. I've sold, and these are just the random lots with the ones that didn't have any booklets or not even matching sets. These are just randos. I got tons of full matching sets to come, but I was doing the randos that didn't match up really. But as groups, these are all Disney things. And so I've already sold almost $200 worth of just the random crap stuff. So I've already got half my money back, and I haven't even got to the good stuff yet. So I do love sorting out Viewmaster reels because there is money to be made.
So, Jason, when you're listing those up and they're that big a lot, do you list the title of every one of those Viewmasters?
No, and I can't show you because this is just a screenshot right now because stupid eBay showed a totally different price. Totally different. Not even what it sold for. So I had to edit it. But what I got in the title was I got Disneyland, Bambi, Mickey, Scrooge McDuck, and Pooh. And then in the description, I knocked out about 10 more. But then the rest will be like mysteries to them. And seeing how I sold 3 lots right away, I'm thinking people kind of dig that. So it's kind of going to be like Christmas to them, open it up.
Yeah. I'd be like trying to list every single title through that.
I used to, but I said nope, and they sell quick, so I don't have to worry about it.
And now it's time for our CD and cassette scores of the week. And as always, we start with flipping cassettes.
And no kiss, sorry. Okay, so we always ask the guest hosts, the co-hosts, hey, you got any cassette sales, record sales, or CD sales? And this showed up in my notes as cassette sales.
Well, I didn't have any music sales because I'm not able to go through the music quite as well as you can. But I have done reasonably well on blank cassettes and blank media in times past. And if you walk into an estate sale and somebody has a bunch of old recordable cassettes, they're worth at least taking a look at. Because I have just about a year ago, I went to an estate sale, found a bunch of Sony metal cassette tapes, and they were used, and I sold them for $75 a piece. So they're worth looking at.
Nice.
So yes, it's video cassette tapes.
I sold actual cassette tapes. Now, this isn't a big sale, but when you buy a lot of cassettes, you look through every one of them and you find the ones that are worth good money by themselves, and you sell those singularly. And then you group the ones that aren't, kind of like the Viewmaster reels. So here's 3 great whites. The great whites by themselves are worth like $2 each, but together they're worth about $13 plus shipping. So those went. And then last week while we were on the air, I sold Prick. And as you can see, again, in AU, went directly to Australia. Tuesday morning, I shipped 12 of my 40 packages to Australia. It's crazy. It's crazy this week. Australians are like, we got to buy stuff. So someone in Australia needed this 1995 cassette. This is basically in the alt rock world. This is a one-hit wonder. But hey, $16.73 plus shipping on a cassette, I will absolutely take it. And where is my, oh, that's right there. All right, Roy, this was a Facebook Marketplace score. She had all these records, and she shot a video flipping through them, and the video was upside down. So that was and so I watched it, and she went so quick through them. When I saw this one go by, in my brain, I'm like, was that one autographed? And so I drove up right away, and I got to look at it, and she asked for $10. And then when I got home, I found out that this was only given away autographed to people who paid the big VIP price for the last tour. Nice. And so, you can buy a ticket for $100 or you can buy a ticket for $3,000. You get to meet the band for 2 seconds, take one picture, and then you get some swag. So that's where the swag came from.
And you get this fancy record for $3,000.
Yeah. And so, nice. As you can see, everything's written in German because it's sold on ebay.gr. If you can't understand the theme of this week's show for me, it is you should be selling internationally, and we haven't even got to that segment yet. So this sold in euros, which ended up being about $116 plus shipping. So, yeah, international sales are where it's at right now, especially with our entire country under snow, ice, and crap.
And now we go from flipping cassettes to flipping CDs.
Oh, good question from the chat. How do you sell on Australia? Where is it? How do you sell in Australia if you are in the U.S.? I use a service called Web Interpret that takes all my listings and puts them on 6, but soon to be 8 foreign platforms for me. So they do all the work for me. They take a little bit of a cut, but they do all the work. Now look at this, Roy. Australia again. Now I didn't set out to show you everything international, but there were so many this week. Okay, I wanted to profile. Yeah, it's awesome. I wanted to profile this CD by Kool and the Gang because it ain't a real good CD compared to, like, there's no big Kool and the Gang hits on this one. However, what is unique about it, it's one of the early or mid 80s CDs, and this is the look, the label that collectors look for. This is called the Atomic Mercury label. And so people will pay more money for that. So I got $15 and going directly to Australia plus shipping. But if you don't know what you have and don't know how to market it, you'll end up like this seller who sold the exact same CD for $5 and their whole title was Kool and the Gang Forever. So they didn't know. They didn't take any of my courses. They aren't in any of my groups. They didn't know that they should have got 3 times what they asked for it. But I do. And so those are the kind of things I teach. But that is a small one. How about this one? I screwed up a little bit, Roy. Listed for 3 minutes and sold. And I'm like, did I do my research wrong? And I did a smidge. Now, this is a 1-song single that sold for $50 in 3 minutes that I paid 75 cents for. So I shouldn't be bummed. However, I actually looked at the wrong thing when I was doing my research, and one sold in the last year for $100. Now, another one sold for 50. So 50 isn't bad, but if someone got 100, I should have aimed more for that 100.
Yeah, but I'd be hard pressed to be disappointed making $50 out of a 75-cent investment.
Yeah, but everyone in the chat and Roy and Tina, we've all been there. We list something, it sells so quick, we all go, oh, whoops. It sold so quick. But hey, a 1-song single sold for $50. So yes, I'm really not sad. Now, this is no, I don't even know this band. It was an early 90s, late 80s, early 90s hard rock band that didn't go anywhere. And but I saw it in Amoeba Records. They were nice enough to tell me it was out of print, and I was nice enough to give them $15. So then someone else was nice enough to give me $57. I do use regular eBay and ship worldwide, but when you list it directly on their platforms, they see it more, Heather. And I sell a ton more internationally because of that. All right, how about Boston that I bought for $10 and sold for $69? Woo! If you aren't flipping media yet, what are you waiting for? Because let me tell you, besides the fact, as you can see, I'm making a ton of money, CDs are all the same shape. They never differ. Now, Roy had to pack up that big old CB setup, and he had to dismantle that bike we're going to talk about in a minute. But guess what? This CD and this CD and this CD are all the same shape, size, and weight, and so I never have to think I'm going to ship them. They go the exact same way. So not only is there good money to be made, there is also crazy easy shipping. So that is all I got to say about that.
And now it's time for our duds of the week. Do not let our mistakes be yours.
Not everything's a winner.
No, not everything is. This is a little steel, or actually stainless steel or aluminum plate that was engraved and laser engraved, and it has some some coloring on the wording. And I only paid about $3 a piece for them. And so the money isn't bad. My only problem is the reason they're a dud is I probably have 40 more of them of different sorts that I paid the same price for, and I've been sitting on them for 2.5 years. And I think this is about the 4th one I've sold. So a little painful to the bank account. You're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. This one was definitely loser. So if somebody wants 40 polished aluminum grill badges for, I don't know, 20 or 30 bucks, give me a call. We can work out the shipping.
Yeah, now, Debbie saw this because Debbie is my producer and puts all the stuff together. She goes, how the hell is this a dud?
How the hell is and tiki mugs to boot on your channel of all places is a dud, right? So this is a dud. When Geeky Tiki, they did a big liquidation sale a couple years ago. Rhonda and I jumped in with both feet, and of course we bought Marvel, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we bought another complete set. We overbought. We bought a ton of these, and thank God this This was the last set that finally went out. And when you start to figure out what we spent in time and money wrapped up in inventory and how much time it took to ship all these and package them up, we did okay. We didn't end up losing money, but we certainly didn't make a lot. So really the moral of the story is, just because you look at it as a screaming deal, you better make sure you want that many and you're willing to sit on them. So it took a while. We got out of them okay, but it was definitely a dud.
Yeah, I've been there where I bought a bunch of thing and I thought, oh, this will be great. Yeah, it was, but it took too long. That's the other thing. I don't think I teach that enough. I bought an entire garage full of records once. I made a lot of money, but I lost my entire dining room. At the time, we lived in a 2-bedroom condo for over a year. And so looking back, I'm like, yeah, I probably could have spent my time making more money doing other things. So, yeah.
I think people underestimate a lot in this business the value of their time, because the time that we spent messing with those and some of the other things we've done, you could make far more money doing something else rather than dealing with tiki mugs. And then also with those, we had a couple of them that ended up getting shipped in shipping, and the customers, contact us, so we ended up sending them replacements. So yeah, I'm glad they're gone.
All right, here's my dud, and I'm always happy to share when my CDs are duds. So this one's funny. I had it listed at other marketplaces. I finally got it on eBay. Had it for a whopping $12.99 on sale for $10.65. I was able to send out an offer. I sent out an offer for $9.99, and they countered with $9.50. So we were farting around for 49 cents. Now I just spent $6, so it wasn't worth it, but it went bye-bye. And basically I probably broke even-ish. So it wasn't a total loss, but not everything's a winner. And sometimes the day you get them, they're winners, but by the time you get rid of them, they ain't. Now, I did buy a whole bunch of...
You didn't hold out for the 49 cents? You didn't haggle over
it? No.
You just took it?
Took it and ran. I'm happy to see it go. All right, I bought a bunch of hats that do quite well, some of them, and others, yeah. Now, I only paid a quarter, sold it for $10, but kind of like Roy's, they're sitting here too long. It's been like almost 2 years, and I've sold about half the hats. So the other half have been listed for about 2 years. So if someone's like, I'll give you 10, I only paid a quarter, I'm like, yes, I'll take it, because at this point I want them gone, and I want to free up my space for other better things.
And now it's time for Where in the World Did Our Stuff Go? If you are not shipping internationally, you are leaving out 7.3 billion with a B potential customers.
Oh, hey, look at this bike.
Hey, weird. So yes, not only did I have to package this bike, but I ended up having to ship it quite a long ways. So I ended up going to, I'm not even going to try that, Daily Wop, Australia. So Australia's been busy this week. You sold how many? How much? Yeah, apparently they're not affected by the weather and they're ready to spend some money.
Real quick, hey, Michael, off the top of my head, I don't know, but if you message me on Facebook later tonight after the show's over, I will be happy to help you and give you a price. Very happy. So, yep, your bike's off to Australia, and my Lady Gaga Oreos, which I picked up at my local grocery store, are off to Corbis. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. France. I paid $6. They paid 26, and because it was listed on eBay France, that service kind of determines the shipping, and I'm making $10 on the shipping. So essentially, I made $30 on Oreos I picked up at my local grocery store. Because proof positive, you don't know what people want. But look, based on everything you've seen tonight from Roy and I, people want everything. Everything. All right, whoever just said, hang tight, Paul. There's a shipping segment coming up. Hang tight. Hang tight. Everyone's so excited about shipping that bike. Wait for the shipping segment. It is coming. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. I meant to click this first.
And now it's time for the Thrifty Tips of the Week. Little tips and tricks to help you out when you're outsourcing.
Okay. So my thrifting tip is when you're at that estate sale or that yard sale, never forget that back shed that looks like it's falling over. This is actually out of my falling over shed. It's a chainsaw that I happened to blow up about 10 years ago. And with COVID, the sourcing hasn't been quite as good as it's been in years past. So I grabbed it, spent the evening tearing it apart. And these are just 5 items that I pulled off that chainsaw. And I got about 5 more to go, which will be a good chunk towards the replacement after I burn this one up.
So the tip is go find falling down sheds.
Yeah, go well, and don't be afraid to part things out. You know, especially like if you find old chainsaws that are stills or Husqvarnas, some of the old home light saws I've sold for good money. Don't be afraid to tinker with those. And you know, the nice thing with this stuff is it's easy to ship. It's not going to break.
Yeah, true. All right, mine is a very simplistic one, but it's one I actually forgot this week, and but it caught me off guard. I was at an estate sale. I'm going to talk about that in a second, and I bought a whole bunch of DVD box sets. And when I pulled out my credit card, she's like, with an attitude, I don't take plastic, which is ridiculous in 2021 that an estate sale won't take plastic. So I reached in my wallet, and I didn't have enough. Buy about $8, and not only will she not take plastic, she won't wheel and deal. So, but the return is going to be so good. I'm like, can you hold them? She goes, will you give me a deposit? I'm like, fine. So I gave her some money. I ran down to the gas station, got some money. But you never know, shockingly, when people aren't going to take plastic at estate sales. So make sure you have cash on hand. I blew it. I should have had my cash. But, and I'll talk about this tomorrow night on Jason and Stacey's Thrift Hall, doing it this way, I actually worked out better for me, and I'll explain all that tomorrow night. So, all right, now the one thing that everyone's been dying to ask.
And now it's time for You Have Got to Be Shipping Me, what to do and what not to do when it comes to shipping.
Hey, Roy, how'd you ship that bike?
So my tip is do not be afraid to use GSP. For the bigger items like this, it makes it way easier. So, you know, I work a full-time job in addition to my thrifting, in addition to the business. So sometimes I've got to do the things a simpler way for me. And so the bigger items, especially, we put the option of GSP on them, and you would be amazed at how much stuff I have sold overseas. And I do quite a bit, not only that's the first bike I've ever sold. But I sell a lot of vintage electronics, and you would be amazed at how much vintage electronics I've sold through the GSP program.
Yeah, so that's the one thing that I've always said. I don't want anyone to sell on GSP for small handheld stuff, but for expensive stuff, for big stuff, absolutely. But things that you could easily ship on your own, do it yourself because you can make some money. I made $10 extra off of stupid Oreos. 10 extra.
So Jason, what's the cutoff for weight for you when to where you go, no, I'm not going to offer international shipping on this?
You know, before we actually have to pause and think about it, would be about above 7 pounds.
Yeah, because that was like 17 pounds.
Oh yeah, for sure on that. For sure, without fail. So yeah, above 7 pounds, I start to think. All right, now I'm going to zoom in a second, but here's what I want you to think about. It's not something I'd ever thought about until this week, and I wanted to teach you real quick. So I already had one package going out UPS this day. And so on those Coca-Cola plates and cups, I had put economy shipping because I was going to determine after the fact wherever they lived. Well, this person lived wherever they lived, and I looked at my 2 I could choose from, really, UPS ground or FedEx home delivery. So if you look across the line, both UPS ground and FedEx home delivery give $100 insurance, so that's equal. The one says will be delivered between the 17th and the 23rd, and one says 17th through 22nd. That's essentially the same. And the price was within 8 cents. Now, most of us are probably like, all right, screw it. I'll just do the cheaper one. Excuse me. My other package was going FedEx. FedEx. So the cheaper one is UPS. But I'm like, all right, for 8 cents more, I don't have to go to UPS now. I got 2 things going to FedEx. So think about it. If you have the choice and it's that close, and if you're already going to one, why go to both?
Don't undervalue your time.
Right. So for 8 seconds, it was way better just to go to FedEx. And not have to go. The most
valuable thing you have is time.
Yep. So always, when you do those kind of odd, kind of big, kind of heavier things, leave yourself some options. Either click off standard shipping, which is just generic, or economy shipping if it's really big, again, generic, and then you get to pick. But only do that on big, complicated things. Like if this was going to LA, it would have been quick and easy, priority mail. But of course, it went to like New Jersey. And so, okay, so now I got to look at my options. I've never been wrong. I have never, knock on wood, never had FedEx rebill me. I've never been wrong.
Never had it either.
And see, Roy's never had it either. So, and not to say that FedEx doesn't make mistakes, but I've never had it. And so, you know.
Hey, Jason, along the same lines, we've had things that were within like $1 where we'd have to go drop it off with FedEx or UPS versus we could ship it priority and they come and pick up at our house every day. I'll spend the $1.
Oh, yeah.
Save me the trip.
I'm good at penny pinching, but there's a point where you got to really think about the entire situation.
And now it's time for our online selling tips of the week. It doesn't matter if you're selling on Etsy, Depop, Mercari, Poshmark, or eBay. These are little tips and tricks to help you when you're selling.
Okay. So I know some of you do or probably avoid local sales because of all the flakes. It's a pain, right? So what I do for me is, because like I said, time is the most valuable thing you have. When I'm working with, I sell a lot in local sales. And so when I have somebody who's shown interest and says, I want something, what I ask them to do is I pick a location that's really close to my house. Mine's literally a mile down the hill. It's at a local Starbucks. And I will ask them, when you're 10 minutes out, give me a text and let me know you're on the way. Or send me a message and let me know you're on the way. If they don't send me a message, I don't come. Sometimes they wait until they're there and they send me a message. Okay. Worst case is I'm a couple minutes late. You know, it's not like we're dealing usually with return customers that are going to come and buy multiple things from us, right? So if you're a couple minutes late, it's going to be okay. But once I start talking to them and they said they're interested, I load it in the car so I'm ready to go at a moment's notice. I'll be listing or I'll be doing whatever I need to do, playing with the dog in the backyard. When I get the message, I'll hop into the car and away I'll go. Then I'm not wasting my time waiting on somebody because I refuse to sit in a parking lot and wait for somebody. I got better things to do. And it's, speaking of my dog and the playing in the backyard, if you guys hear him running around down here, I apologize and panting. He's in here with me.
That's all right. So I'm assuming you just dismantled the bike and put it in a box, right?
Yeah, the bike went in a box. I ended up having to take it to FedEx, or Rhonda did. She had to drag it into the local Walmart where FedEx is. But
just a box. And to go along with yours, my meeting place is a quarter mile from my house. It's our local grocery store. And so if they don't show up, I always need something from the grocery store. We all do. And so if they don't show up, it isn't a waste of time for me. I'll sit out front for 10 minutes. Yeah. I'll walk inside and get some groceries. So easy peasy.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll take and I keep my phone on me. I make sure I'm available, right? I'm not going to be that guy that doesn't answer the text. But I'm not going. It's a 2-minute drive. I am not going down there until I know they're there.
All right. So I want everyone to always go the extra mile for your buyers, no matter what the item is, no matter what the price, because you don't know when they're going to come back and buy more from you. So I had bought 8 of these Floyd Mayweather, the Money Team shirts in 7XL. And this was my last one. So this woman reached out to me and said, hey, would this fit me? And I wrote back, I go, you do realize it's a 7XL men's t-shirt. So that means the person wearing it's probably somewhere between 375 and 450 pounds. And she wrote back and said, I'm a size 6 to 8, 32B cup. What about, would it fit me like a dress? And now I didn't really need to know her bra size, but in our correspondence, she told me it 3 times. So she said, do you have anybody that would be my size? And I said, what's your height? She said, 5'3". So this is the teenager that works for me who happens to be 5'3". I'm like, perfect. Go put this on. So I did the first pictures with a belt, thinking that's how she would want it. And then she said, can I see pictures without a belt? So I said, sure. Took a few more pictures and she bought it. Now, it just went out 2 days ago. She doesn't have it yet. But I didn't mind going the extra mile because A, I do that for any customer, and B, it's a good story after the fact. It was funny.
And wait for the raving review you'll get.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I kept telling my wife, I go, she keeps telling me her bra size. I don't really need to know that, but she keeps telling me. But I asked her, what's your height? Because with my teenage assistants and my adult assistant and my wife and my teenage assistant's mother, I had a lot of different heights of women around me. And so I will grab the right one and take a couple quick pictures, because I would hope that when I'm a buyer, someone would do that for me. So go the extra mile and take care of your customers. And one last segment. We'll get Tina in here. Oops, I went the wrong way.
And now it's time for Unseasonably Sold. What did you sell out of season?
All right. So obviously we're a couple months past Christmas, and Rhonda, my wife, actually found these in a free bin. So anytime you can find vintage Christmas tree ornaments and flip them for $45, I'll gladly take that in the month of February.
Oh, hell yeah. But even better in February, how about Halloween music? Because, you know, when the entire country is under ice and snow, someone's thinking, I need some Halloween music right now. So, yeah. So if you are not listing your Christmas, your Easter, well, Easter's coming up, your Halloween, your Arbor Day, your Valentine's Day, keep listing it, because it's going to sell. It's going to sell. I tell you, it's going to sell. All right. Real quick, housekeeping. Flipping Vinyl Records, for those of you in the Secret Beach, it is there. Please go watch it. We're going to have a cocktail party 1 week from this Saturday. And during that cocktail party, besides hanging out and seeing each other virtually, I will answer any and all of your questions about the Flipping Vinyl presentation. So please go watch it. And then on tomorrow night, Stacy and I are back. We haven't done a thrift haul in forever. So one thing is, look at all these DVDs. I bought a ton of DVDs, and Stacy and I had an amazing day. We went from the estate sale to a vintage store and found some goodies. Then we went to Buffalo Exchange and found more goodies. And we went to Savers and found even crazier more goodies. And then I found a tub, Roy, of goodies from a Buffalo Exchange from 2 months ago that I forgot about. And I'm like, well, I probably should have listed this sooner. You know, ugly Christmas sweater is now March or February, but we have a lot of stuff to show you and a lot of stories to tell you, and things that you should be on the lookout for, things you should pay attention to, and mistakes that you don't want to make. So tomorrow night, yay, Stacy's back. I haven't had her on a show in a while. 8 o'clock East Coast, 5 o'clock on the West Coast. And then Mom, I can't wait. Mom had unboxed some long ago t-shirts from 3, 4, 6 years ago. And we had a lot of fun doing that. And so now it's time for her coffee mugs. She has so many. So she's going to unbox them on Sunday night, 7 o'clock East Coast, 4 o'clock on the West Coast. And if you like something, she will cut you a swell deal. So make sure to tune in on Sunday night. And then next week, Roy, we got a fun show. Now, next week's going to be different because my mom's going to co-host next week, because Jennifer and Bo are a brand new mother and son eBay team. And when I say brand new, they just listed their first 3 items 2 days ago.
Awesome. So, I can't wait to find out who's doing the work and the listing and how they've divided it.
Yeah,
so
awesome. They're sourcing together. And I said, Mom, you got to be co-host, because my mom and I have been thrifting since I was 6. So it's going to be a good, fun thing. So a lot of great shows coming up. But that's enough of that nonsense. Let's get to this show. Oh, I missed a click.
And now it's time for the Thrifty Business Special Guest of the Week.
Oops, get rid of that. Sorry. Hey, Tina. Oops, get rid of that.
Hey, Jason. Hey, Roy.
I'll suddenly like,
hey.
Hey. What's
Hey.
happening, Tina? How the heck are you?
I'm swell. Sitting here having a great show.
How's your glass of wine since it's National Wine Day? I have no clue.
My glass of wine is lovely.
Now, that is not a wine glass.
No, it's a little piece of pottery that is lovely that came in a box from the auction.
All right, so thishalf.com is done, so I'm into this half now. And I got to tell you, Tina, thanks for being on, because I hadn't pulled out this bottle of Cruzan in a long time. This is damn good rum. Like, I took that first sip and I was like, I forgot how good this rum was. So if you're into rum, go find this one. Damn, it's good. I do not work for Cruzan nor make any money, but I love it so much I wanted to tell everybody. All right. So, let's go back before we get to the real reason, the bet. Let's talk about, now, Roy, how long have you been selling online?
Initially since 98.
Oh, okay. So you're old time, that old too.
Yeah, but I had a hiatus and I started again about 4 years ago.
So were you aware of half.com at all, Roy?
No, half.com actually came in after I stopped selling. So I was on eBay when you were before even pictures were available.
So Tina, let's tell everybody about Half, because that's where you started. It was one of the things I started on. Half was pre-Amazon. There was no Amazon yet. And Half started with just textbooks. And the whole point was you could only sell it for half of the retail rate. And then they added all the media. And then they found out that a lot of media and books are out of print. So they had to change it. So it still was called half.com. But we could sell now for anything we wanted. Initially, it was only half price of retail. So when did you start on it right away, Tina?
I don't know when, because I don't know Half's history, but that's where I started. I had books. I'd always had a lot of books. And so I don't even know how I found it. I just started listing. Just did it. I also listed a few things. So I listed a few things on Amazon as it came on, when they started allowing us to sell on there. And it wasn't as good a fit for me. So I just kept going with half.com, which then, switched over to eBay. Well, I don't know. When did they join, Jason?
So I was going to say, so Brian's in the chat, and Brian was like us, early half.comer. Now, Stephanie's younger than us, but she bought her college books on there. So she was a customer, or we were the sellers. Okay. And so that was like the going place to sell stuff. That was early 2000. And then eBay bought it and ruined it. And so they bought it and ruined it. And so I was standing in a record store where a friend was a manager. I'm like, oh man, half.com just ain't where it's at since eBay bought it. He goes, have you tried Amazon? And Amazon was relatively new. And I said, not yet. And I've been on Amazon ever since selling.
Yeah, I had done some on half.com and did it until Kindle kind of killed what I was doing. So it's been a long time ago.
Kindle. Wow.
Yeah, the Kindle kind of killed what I was doing. And so then you just pivot. Let's do the next thing.
Now, you were on Half and selling, but yet had not made the jump to eBay until one day you were at an estate sale, and they kind of kind of dared you to sell on eBay. So my question though is, why hadn't you thought of jumping to actual eBay?
I was pretty busy in my career at that time. I was full-time real estate, and it takes it just takes a lot of paying attention when you're a real full-time realtor. And so I didn't feel like I had the time. And then when I was at this estate sale and these guys were just giving me a bad time, and I said, okay, game on. And that's when I started. And then I started selling kind of a few things around the house. Then I went to Mile High Thrift. And then the party started, which was in Denver.
I love Mile High Thrift. All right. Well,
yeah.
Before we get to Denver, though, Roy, have you ever been at an estate sale where the people running it gave you shit?
Actually, no, I've never had.
I know. When I heard that, I'm like, what?
Surprisingly, I'm pretty open about what I do, and I've usually been welcomed with open arms. I've had a couple instances where I got poo-pooed, but I've never had somebody that started laughing at me.
Now, that day that they were giving you grief, Tina, in the notes, it said you went back to that sale many times.
Oh, a bunch of times. And my husband ended up buying their mother's car, which was like a 98, 88 old, the ones that were kind of look like a boat. And then he drove that thing to work for years.
Now, since you weren't selling on eBay, what were you buying for? Just to buy stuff that you wanted?
Oh, so yeah, I'd buy stuff and just kind of look at things. And I had always known about linens, glassware, just stuff. Always like to see what other people have.
And so they opened you up. They were like, I bet you couldn't sell us on eBay.
Pretty much. And the one brother, he sells, and I could never remember his store's name, but he was a big bookseller on eBay at that time.
And what year was this?
Either 2012 or 2013. And then once I got started, I have another friend, and I said, I got started selling some stuff on eBay. And she says, well, I used to sell jeans. So then we started going thrifting together. And she started selling again, and she's still selling again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
See how that big world works. Yeah. And it's funny how thrifting and estate sale kind of, brings people together. So Roy took my class, and, I've had a lot of people take my classes in person that I remember some, I don't remember some. Some people are so quiet, they don't say a word. Roy ordered the most ridiculous sandwich at lunch ever, and so I would never ever forget Roy. And so, but Roy and I would not have been friends had I not been a thrifter. So it's such a great thing that we have these friendships, and because of COVID lately, we've had to have them just online. But I've, like Stephanie Canada, who's in the chat, we become good friends. She helps me out, and we haven't met yet, but we've met online and we talk all the time. And someday soon we'll meet in person. But I do absolutely love the people I meet. Now, that all ties back to, how'd you end up hanging out with Debbie last week or 2 weeks ago?
Well, Debbie had a family member who had moved here to Knoxville. We moved to Knoxville here in spring of 2019. My husband was here in April, and I was here full time at the end of June. And we had been talking in the chat, and I said something about being in Knoxville, and she said, well, I think this family member is going to come there. So I said, well, if you do, get a hold of me. So she got a hold of me. We went to an estate sale. And then I took her to McKay's Books, which is a big deal here in Knoxville.
Roy, you got to see this store. It's kind of like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark when they're putting the Ark of the Covenant away in the warehouse. That's how this store is, with books and records. It just goes on and on. And it's got this upstairs balcony area. So you look down on just thousands, maybe 1 million books. It's insane.
When I got back into the game online, I was a bookseller on Amazon, and so yeah, I still like me some good books.
Yeah, and it's kind of a retail price. I don't really see deals there, but it's always fun to look. It's always fun to learn.
Yeah, and so I was getting pictures from Debbie and Tina at that store, and they were saying, "Yeah, we're not finding any deals." And so now inside my loins, I'm like, I gotta go because I'm gonna find those deals that they missed. I'm gonna find the books and the CDs and the records they mispriced. So Tina, when I can come, I'm coming.
Okay, let's go.
I'm coming.
Let's do it.
We're gonna take that store by storm. They know what's gonna hit them.
Let me know. We'll tear up the town.
Oh, hell yeah!
Awesome. Can't wait.
So Tina, you got on eBay 8 years ago. And I want to just, we're not going to get into your scores and duds yet, but I want to show your store real quick. Oops, I don't want to get rid of us. So there we go. But let's look at how many things you have for sale. Oh, my. Oh, my.
Wow.
Let's give Tina a round of applause. That's a lot of work. Well done.
I got to up my game.
Thanks.
Me too. I'm like, dang. Oh, Donald just gave me a $5 tip. He says, this is Donald. I live in Knoxville. So thanks, Donald. I appreciate that. And thanks, Tina, for living in Knoxville. Oh, you guys are making my night, everybody here.
Knoxville's a nice town.
Oh, yeah.
It's starting to sound like a place you may need to do a class when we can move around again.
Yep. I need to get to Knoxville. I need to get to Memphis. I need to get to Nashville. I've been to Memphis once. I never made it to Graceland, so I need to get back there. I've never been to Nashville, so I need to get, I love music, and I've never been to Nashville, so that's kind of odd.
Everybody needs to do Graceland at least once.
Yeah, trust me. When we can move about the country, classes everywhere. I miss all of you guys so much. I miss teaching. I miss thrifting the country. I miss hitting tiki bars with you all around the country. So for sure, yeah, I'll be back to Texas. I got to get to Austin. I found a record store in Dallas. So check this out. All right. So, Roy, you been in my class?
Mm-hmm.
I taught a class. Class was over. I had to catch a flight later that day. We all went to lunch together. And at lunch, I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, there's a record store nearby. Hey, everybody, I'm going to this record store. If you want to get up close and personal with me at a record store and see how I do it, come on over. One person came over. One. And I said, all right, so you get to learn. And so we went through the store and it was so good. I don't know what it's called top of my head. I can find it, but it was so good. And I made so much money just from that store. And I was shocked. Like 19 other people said, nah, I'll see you later.
So I got to jump in here. So Jason, remember when we spent the weekend down in Portland?
Yeah.
I've actually got to see Jason source music. And what he gives out on these classes is no joke. He shows you the real thing, and I've watched him in person actually source music, and I can't even come close. But it's pretty amazing. Here we were at a guy selling CDs on the side of the road. Do you remember this, Jason?
Yeah.
He came out with a whole stack of them, and I found two. But anyway, it's worth, if you have a chance to go sourcing with them in person, it's worth it.
So Tina,
I can't wait to watch and learn.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I miss everybody. I miss travel. I miss thrift stores. I miss teasing class. I can't wait. All right, so you're married.
Mm-hmm. 41 years.
And congratulations. And when you started selling online, what did your spouse think about it, feel about it? React to it?
Well, he doesn't see the value in most of this stuff, you guys. He likes the money, just saying. But he struggles, and there's reasons for that. But he helps me. He goes to, he takes the big stuff to FedEx, and I sell some big weird things. And he goes to the post office a lot. Monday was this week when he shipped Tuesday. It was a lot. It was a big trip, plus FedEx. And I do what you do. Either we're going to UPS, he's going to UPS. If we're going to FedEx, he goes to FedEx. Not for a buck. And I make that decision as I'm shipping. But yeah, he was a little overwhelmed, but we try to corral it, but he's been extremely supportive. And as we were moving from Denver, I bought out the end of an estate sale with a buddy. He took half and I took half.
Oh, so wait, you're back in your house and you're like, hey, we need more crap to move.
Finished out the truck. We had two pups, and he had worked for a truck line for years. So he's very, very good at packing high and tight, right? Those pups were full. We moved here very reasonably with his skills. So it's all those things that he adds in. It's the stuff that I don't know. I don't know any of that.
He's a keeper.
He's a keeper.
Yeah, he's a keeper. If you'll,
Yep.
As you're moving, all of a sudden you go buy an end of an estate sale, and
Oh, thank God I brought the couch. We wouldn't have anywhere to sit.
Oh, Stephanie says, Tina, I feel like I'm seeing myself in the future.
Hey, Stephanie, I'm coming down there to thrift with you, girlfriend. We're doing fabric. I'm going to go and learn.
I would say that's maybe the silver lining about COVID and being home. I spent a lot more time online than I ever would have because I'm not going here and there, and I've actually got to meet and really cultivate some friendships with people over online. And Stephanie and her husband Ned being two of them, and I cannot wait to meet them in person because we've had such great time just hanging out online. And that's the great thing about my shows and my groups. There's so many people to meet, and you'll find people in your area. And so when you can safely do things, you can have new thrifting buddies. So what's your husband like? And I don't mean what's he like, is he cute? Is he tall? What's he like? Does he like tools? Does he like sports? Does he like guns? What's he like?
No, he is a misplaced farmer. He is from eastern South Dakota. He's really more my parents' generation, even though we're not very far apart in age. But he likes to tinker. He likes to fix things. I think one of the things that we're going to show that I sold, he fixed it. It would have been nothing to sell, but he put it back together, made sure it was great. That's what he does. He's a tinkerer, but and detail. He is wonderfully detailed. I suck at detail. I'm like, just next.
Are you married to Roy?
Yeah. I was thinking kindred spirit. I definitely have to come back now and source with your husband.
Yeah, but he puts up with me and he puts up with the stuff, and I really try to keep it out of our living space.
Okay, well,
send him sourcing it with me, and I'll show him the value.
That would be wonderful. And he does find parts. And okay, you guys, he walked into a house one day, and he said, "We'll take that." I had no idea what it was.
Towards, does he participate in that way?
Yeah,
because
he participates.
one of us knows something well, including our spouses who don't normally thrift. So if they're with you, does he offer his expertise? And I can see that he does.
Yes, it was a hood ornament that was one of those long those beautiful things from the 50s. Flipped it for like $300.
Nice. All right. So I can't find it, but Lisa said, okay, Tina, where do you keep 3,400 things organized? So, and you just said it's not in your living space. So where are all these things organized? We bought a house with a walkout basement specifically for this reason. And I have a big room downstairs. The bulk of the items are there. And as we moved it from Denver, we set it up exactly the same on the same shelves, like with like. Wow.
Everything is like with like on the exact same shelves that we were using there. And we have rows. So I have jeans with jeans. I mean, if you got too many jeans, you would have to get more specific, but the lingerie goes in one, and it's all set up, and I have my computer, thank you, real estate. I have a real nice setup. And so you just have all those things, and it works. And then my books are out in the hallway. And I have clothing racks with a lot of my clothing hung up out there, kind of this other area. And I have expanded to the garage. So we had to enclose underneath our deck for him this year, and probably this year or the coming, I will get to build a real nice garage for my hub.
What?
Because I've taken over too much space.
The books, are they alphabetical by artist?
No, they are alphabetical by title, which is not, but it's fine. My helper, he is amazing at rack, stack, and make it shrink. He's a truly gifted.
So Roy, do you have anyone that helps you?
Do we have anybody that helps us?
Yeah.
We started last year, and thankfully she got called back to her job because she got laid off because of COVID. So we're still trying to find that right person to come give us a hand. We've given a couple people a try. I commend you for having one as long as you have, because it's tough to find good people. So I do have a question though. You said a lot of your clothing is on racks.
Mm-hmm.
How do you organize that so you can find it? Because we put it in bins and fold it up and put it in bins with numbers. So.
Well, that would be my husband would like that. It would be like I do. I just have it. I have women's shirts together, coats together, and then my really expensive coats usually hang where they're longer. I have another rack that those go on. And I've had some designer clothes this past year, and that it was covered and put up there. And the men's clothes all go together. And it's been a little tougher getting the men's clothes here. But that's how I do it. Skirts together, tops.
You ever mix up a top because they're sitting right next to each other and they look similar?
Yes, it went to Russia. I got to send to the other one.
Of course, it didn't go down the road. It went to Russia.
It went to Russia. Nice lady. I shipped it on to her.
So the reason
you just go with it.
About the books by the author, because when we were little kids, at least my age, and I don't know nowadays, but we were taken down to the library and we were taught about the Dewey Decimal System and the card catalog and how to find your author and all that stuff. So I've always incorporated that. Okay, in my CDs, which are all right there for Amazon. Mm-hmm. If it's an artist and the title, it goes by the artist's last name, like Bruce Springsteen goes by Springsteen. If it is Men Without Hats, it'll be under M for Men Without Hats. If it's a compilation or a soundtrack, it goes under the title. So I tell all my assistants, adult and teenager, this is how we do it. And then I see how they do. It's like I'm the only one that ever got taught that. I'm like, what is happening? So I hold their hand and show them. That's why I asked. And so then Matthew asked, how did you find your assistant?
Craigslist.
Of course. She bought him. She bought a whole estate sale and it came with an assistant. It was awesome.
Well, so I got on Craigslist and I kind of started looking for an organizer because I thought, I don't know what to look under. Helper, labor, something. And he showed up, and this has been the only thing that he's done that's been like an ongoing, because there's always freight coming in, right? So there's always stuff coming in to sort and do and put away and clean up. And he's like, he sat me down. He said, you've got to slow down. You've got to get a handle.
I've never had an assistant like grab me and go, no, listen.
He's great.
I don't have enough bandwidth to make it.
He's very good at getting the it's just great. I let him run that part of it because he's really good at it.
If you and Rhonda and the family travel, you just gonna have to put your stuff on vacation, yeah?
Yeah, we use our shipping times really interestingly to make travel work for us. So,
okay.
But I still work a full-time job, so I only actually have so many days out of the year that I can go travel anyways. So.
And so, Tina, and every time I talk about things like this, it's when we can. So if you travel, because I know your sister only works like 10 hours a week, right?
Or he'll come by if I was gone. He's the only person I've ever had that could ship.
Oh wow! Okay.
Ever, and he's got it, and he knows where most things are, and he can get. I'm always reachable. I've never been to where you couldn't reach me. So if I'm gone. I went to St. Louis to help some friends earlier in 2020 in the fall, and he had to ship during that time, and it was fine. Find whatever. It worked great.
Yeah,
but I would put it on vacation, or now it's called something else.
Well, yeah, and that's why I kind of brought that up because it's called like away or something. Yeah, because I was given advice in the thrifting board based on the old vacation settings. I've not ever had to use the new ones because I've always got someone here to ship. And so one of my admins, CR, goes, you gave wrong advice. I go, oh, whoops. And she goes, here's the right advice. I go, okay, put it in there. And I'll just say, my bad, because stupid me, I've never used the new version. And so I didn't know what happened. And so I shouldn't have spoke. I didn't know the new version, but it's a lucky thing. And so if you want to take your business to the next level, if you can find someone to help you, that's part of it. If you can find someone to help you that you trust to ship while you're gone, you never have to say, I'm gone. You just keep your business on it. So I realized that a long time ago. There was like 3 years in a row where I sold the same amount. And I thought, how do I sell more? How do I sell more money? And then I got to hire somebody. And now I've got 2.5 people that help me out. And so I can do this stuff and webinars and still source. But all the stuff's getting listed and sold and shipped, and I don't even really touch it much.
So Jason, while we don't have an assistant though, we do have a daughter who is familiar enough with how to ship that we have set up our system to where anybody can come in and pick up where it's at. It's easy enough to understand. So she set up that if something hit the fan and we had an emergent condition, that I could have her come in and do it. But a lot of that is due to how we've set up the organization system and it integrates with eBay itself. Because we have it pretty succinct where you can pretty easily find what you're looking for.
I may need some lessons.
Well, and I was just about to say, I've picked up a lot of, I'll call them clients. And so we had this set up perfect. And then I'm like, okay, this is the shelf for this person. This is for this person. And it's not as organized as it could and should be. And most of these clients I wasn't looking for. They just kind of came to me. But their stuff was so good. I'm like, I can make good money. And they brought the stuff to me. So, okay. All right. So we got a question. Before we get to your scores and duds. Someone keeps saying, what's half a person? So my teenager works 4 or 5 days a week. She has a younger sister who shows up sometimes and doesn't show up other times. So she hasn't understood yet the value of showing up for your job. So I call her a half because she was supposed to work 2 Mondays ago. So not this past Monday, but the Monday before. Oh, my best friend's birthday's today. I forgot. Okay. I haven't heard from her since. So she's kind of a half.
You have far more patience than I do.
It might be a quarter, Jason.
By next week it'll be an eighth.
That's real easy.
All right. So someone said, how much do you make a month? I never asked a guest that, but I will ask you, how many items do you normally sell?
I usually sell around 200 a month.
Okay.
And I would love that to go up. And I've worked really hard to move my price point up.
Yeah, that's another key that, you have to get help at some point and you got to move your price point up.
Yeah.
We all start with like, whatever, let's do it, and then you got to move your price point up because that's the only way to get more money, because you can find the stuff. You just got to know what to look for.
Pantyhose.
Roy,
Certain pantyhose.
Roy, I'm going to sell your pantyhose, Roy.
Oh man,
Hey,
I'm telling
we
you.
got some listed.
Yep.
I'm good.
All right, let's talk about your duds and scores. Let me get guest of the week. Add this back up. Okay, just to let everyone, because I did show this, but just to let everyone know, it is Tena's vintage upscale resale.
That probably needs to be fixed. Just saying.
It's long, but I read it. I got it.
I know. It could be. Yeah. I'm waiting for the day that Jason's going to see this sometime, and he's going to go, "Really? Can we fix that?"
I'm going to tell you. I'll give you a preview for next week's show with the mother-son team.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the son is 10. I don't think I mentioned that. So I'm very excited to see a 10-year-old get into this because I was 10 and I got into it, into thrifting. Their title, their name is fine, but they need to use some uppercase letters because they can read a totally different way. So we'll talk about that next week. Yeah. I read it the wrong way first, Roy, and I'm like, wait, what's that say? And then I figured it out. I'm like, yeah, we should use some uppercase letters.
I have a story for you. Not fit for this. Not fit for this consumption. I got a story.
Not for family viewing.
Not for family viewing with a customer that I had at one time. Yes.
All right, like all of us, we have duds. So let's talk about yours, Tina.
Well, at one time I was able to pick up large bags of makeup from my favorite thrift store, and new, of course, sealed. And I'd probably had that 2-3 years, maybe more. And so, but you make good money out of it, and then I should have lotted up more than just two items.
Yeah, sometimes bigger lots.
Yeah,
like that's what I did with the Rando Viewmaster reels. I'm like, all right, I'll make some big lots, and people love the big lots of Randos. I'm like, all right, cool.
I might have had that 5 years.
Oh, Debbie, no more 5-year listings, Debbie.
And I think I saw it didn't go for much. It's got a new home. It's gone.
All right, but that's good. That's always good. They're gone. All right, but those are your duds. Oh my God. Now,
nice.
I will let you know this in your title because you have W period L period horse. That all became one word.
Oh.
So you can't have all those punctuation. You can't have them together because someone who searches now, look, you sold for $129. You sold it, but because there's no spaces, that's all one. So it's wool horse, one word with periods in the middle.
Ooh, okay.
So make sure, and that number 3 became one word also. So make sure to space those out. But where'd you find this coolness?
Auction. The auctions saved my backside here, truly, and with the weirds. And I think I probably paid about either 10 or 15 for that.
Damn. Now, how'd you know it was that? How'd you know it was World War I? Did they know that, I assume?
They knew that, but I was actually at that time still able to look at things. And so I was able to look at it, assess, and do some fast research while I was there.
What were you looking for to assess to decide that it was World War I?
They have a mark on them that tells you the time that the Army used them for all that for all those different kinds of a horse, all that stuff. It's all marked. Love to find some Civil War stuff. I do have some Civil War balls listed from down here. Things I would have never found in the West. they're all new to me.
Now, do you identify those by markings or by the construction of how it's made?
Construction.
And the great thing about this is it's small and it won't break. Easy to ship.
Yep.
Yeah,
Probably
nice.
went out in a padded flat rate, my guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love padded flat rates.
No boxes necessary with that.
Yep.
Okay, a little more fragile.
Okay. This is weird. I was at an auction during the COVID out in a field, and the auctioneer, it's kind of late and it's afternoon, so people are getting tired. And this whole lot of these things came up. I didn't know what they were. I got an enormous amount for $5. I've got some of these listed. I've got some listed for 90. I've got a lot of these. I need to go back in and rework the titles now. But they are beautiful. They're strange little things, but they're just gorgeous and handmade.
I love it. A good old field auction and making a lot of money.
Isn't this guy cute?
I'd have trouble selling them.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is like right up Roy's alley. This is such a Roy thing.
Apparently.
I'd have trouble selling them.
Well, okay. So my assistant said, of all the things out here in the garage, I think that thing's worth something. I said, really? Because he still doesn't like most of this stuff. He's like, I don't know why you sell this stuff. I said, because it's money. That's why we do this. And it's interesting. And so I don't know. I put it up and it was gone in 2 hours.
Wow.
You guys, it went to an auction house in Ohio.
Did you have that twinge feeling like Jason said earlier? Darn it! Did I
I did, but I probably have a quarter in it.
Wow.
Okay, Peggy.
I know. I follow your mother. Anyway.
That's way better than the CB I showed earlier. I mean, I had to pay up to make that kind of money.
Yeah, I didn't know. I still, you guys, probably the sad thing is I still don't really know what this is. I still don't know. And I've done some research, and I'm sure he'll make someone else more money.
So, wait a minute, hold on. I see the question mark in the title.
Yes.
So you don't know whether it was a Marks or not?
I don't.
And it's still sold for $700.
Yes, sir. That's one of the things that I use, that if I suspect something, but I don't know it. And so when I feel like I can't say, that I'm going to be held to the litmus it is, I'll put a question mark. I said, I suspect it might be, looks like it, but.
Now, where did you get your price, even though now you're thinking maybe it was a little too short?
Oh, Worth Point.
Okay.
And I found something very similar, sold in 2013. That's what I love about Worth Point. And I use it a lot.
Crap. Let's get an old socks. I had a follow up.
Yeah.
What was my follow up to this? I know what you said. You said, hey, someone else might be getting more money from it.
Yeah,
that's right. I would like to get the most money. It has never bothered me to be in the middle of the food chain.
Right.
As long as I've made my cut, I don't care.
I have no problem with that. I feel like, oh my goodness, you guys, this is such a wonderful sale, and I just feel so blessed for that kind of thing to happen, and something that I still really don't know what it is. But you just kind of, you shoot in the dark, and I thought I shot the moon with that price. But that was in line with what Worth Point had given me.
You have not because you ask not.
That's right. So you can always, it's off. I do have things that I do move the price up on, but generally you better start where you want to be or better.
Tina, have you ever seen the documentary Blue Gold?
No.
So there's two. I want to make sure that people watch the right one. There's one about actual water, which is fine, but that's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about the denim one. Mm-hmm. So the quick gist of it is these guys in LA find some rare denim. They then take it to the Rose Bowl flea market and they throw it out on their table at 4 a.m. And the people who pay early to get in there, they'll buy the denim for $1,000, this rare denim that these guys picked up for, let's say, $50. But then the guy who paid $1,000, he's got a direct line to the biggest collector in Japan, and he spends the money with a plane ticket to go to Japan and take him all this denim, and then he sells the denim for $10,000. But he's got that direct customer. He knows that customer. The guy at the Rose Bowl, he don't know that customer. But guess what? He turned his 50 into 1,000, but the guy who spent 1,000 turned it into even more. So as long as you're getting your money, and if you don't have that end customer, then you're good. So don't sweat it that someone bought something from you and then turned it into even more. But learn from it. If you can figure out that they did, figure out, how do I get that customer?
Yeah. Living here in Knoxville, there were Levi's plants here. I am waiting to find that old denim. I'm everywhere I go, I look, because somebody worked in those factories, you guys. And you get in these old houses around here, it's going to happen. I just, you don't know when.
You find any of it that made your heart pitter pat and go, I think I found it, because I find that all the time here in the Northwest.
Yeah, it'll happen someday.
And then I crash down in disappointment.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry that I keep getting so many offers in the middle of your scores.
That's great. Good.
Yeah. I'm like, it's been quiet all day. And then tonight I've had like 7 offers during the show. I'm like,
sell it.
Now, this is something that I've never found one of these, but I see you and other of my friends find them and sell them. I'm like, dang, I feel left out.
Oh, well, this thing is okay. This didn't work. It was broken. It needed to be adjusted. And that's what my husband fixed.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, he fixed this. And this month in either Cottage Living or Cottage Journal magazine, in one of the photos, this item is used. Probably not this exact one, because magazines are done 6 months in advance. But this item is in the picture. So it's on trend, as they say.
Nice. And look at that shipping, $56.
Yep. And I probably made a little on that, by the way.
But the reason I point that out, Roy, is people think, mainly newer sellers, that, oh my God, if I got something where the shipping's expensive, ain't no one going to buy it. You know, those Oreos that went to France, someone paid American, let me tell you exactly. They paid American, where's my Oreos? They paid American $35 for shipping.
So that bike that we showed tonight, the additional fees that you don't see were another, if I remember right, it was a little over $150 in addition to the $400 he paid me for the bike. They will pay it if they want it.
Yes. Now, if we're all selling just white tube socks and packs of 6, no one's going to pay a lot of money. But Tina and Roy and myself have found things that people needed somewhere else that was either big or had to travel far, and they didn't mind paying. So if you take nothing else away from the show, take away that customers are everywhere around the globe, and they will pay for things they want.
And they don't bat an eye.
Not a bit.
No. I sold a fireplace cover. It's cast iron. Weighed a ton. I don't remember what the shipping was on that, but it was hefty and no problem.
I always try to say, think about the thing that you're into. What would you pay to get your holy grail that you finally found? Well, okay, there are things that you own that are other people's holy grails, and they'll pay it.
Absolutely.
Sure will.
Absolutely.
And be glad to.
All right, so team, what's next on your agenda? What's coming up? You got any estate sales coming up?
Well, we bought out the 1st of November. I went in and bought out the end of an estate sale, which is a business that I'm very attracted to, is doing the clean out. My son has a moving business where he has trucks, and we have, of course, we have a big pickup and a trailer, and I drive a SUV, and so we can, move stuff, move freight. And so I bought that. And so I've kind of been on a buying hiatus until we get through that lot. But I was attracted to buying that particular estate because he had been a pastor and a chaplain around the world.
Oh, wow.
So it was the books.
How many vintage leather Bibles did you find?
Yeah, I love Bibles. Bibles are good. I'm in the Bible Belt.
Yeah. Dead in the middle. All right,
In the buckle, baby.
Agenda. Anything exciting coming up?
It's pretty slow right now in the Pacific Northwest because of COVID. There's no in my area the thrifting is really tough, and so for us it's yard sales and estate sales. So I'm praying that when we start looking, we're in phase 2 now, and they're still trying to figure out what phase 3 is. Hopefully the estate sales and yard sales will pick up, because that's where we really do the majority of our business.
Yep.
Or senior.
Our auctions all went to online, and that has still gone very well.
Yeah, I've participated where I bought an entire CD collection from an estate sale that was an online auction, and I'm just killing it making money on it.
Yeah. Our max sold here, the prices have just gone insane. It's
okay. Well, since that is happening, are you using it to sell on max sold?
No, and okay. It's a time thing. Yeah. I would gladly do it if I had the bandwidth, but I got to focus on what I know.
Yeah, because I was talking to Craig last night, and I'm like, when they come into Vegas, I want to try it, because Craig sells the dumbest crap for so much money on max solds, and I'm like, I want to sell dumb crap for a lot of money.
Me too.
He would put 5 unrelated records together that I would never even grab out of the thrift store, and then they sell for $40, and I'm like, what? Wait, I want to do this. This sounds fun. I can put crap together. Yeah, there are Dale's in the chat. He loves Max Sold. Yeah. All right. Yeah, thanks. Brian is my thumbs up wrangler. We had 150 at one point. We're at 132. Come on, give us a big old thumbs up. Give Tina a thumbs up. Give Roy a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. If you learned anything tonight, if you've laughed tonight, if you've enjoyed, if you've just found a rum that you have to go out and purchase because it is so damn yummy. Look, I got tons of rums. I got like 125 in my bar. Having this tonight, I'm like, oh, dang, this one's so good. I forgot. So, give us a big old thumbs up. If you don't know where the thumbs up is, let me show you. It's right down here. Now, if you're new, hi, welcome. Subscribe down. Oops. Subscribe down here and make sure you click the bell. The bell lets you know when we're going live. I'll be live tomorrow night, same time with my wife. I'll be live 1 hour earlier with my mom on Sunday, and then I'll be back here on Thursday at the same time with the newest mother-son duo and eBay sellers, Bo and Jennifer. Can't wait to talk to them, because seeing a 10-year-old get into this, thrifting and selling, it warms the cockles of my heart.
I can't wait to see that. That reminds me so much of me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was 10 years old. I had a pocket full of cash because I had 2 jobs already at 10. And I was buying a ton of stuff. There was no reselling really at that time, but I would have. Tina, you are so awesome. I would love to invite you back as a co-host in the near future.
Would love to. That'd be fun.
Absolutely.
Love to do that.
Yeah.
By the way, I started going to auctions with my dad when I was 6.
And it's like the age. My mom and grandma took me to an estate sale, and they lost me. Mom. It was my fault. I wandered away, but I talked to all the vendors, so I wasn't even interested in buying yet. But I was like, my mom found me. I was like, "What are you selling? Why are you selling it? What's going on?" I was very inquisitive as a 6-year-old. All right, everybody, good to see you. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Stay warm, stay very safe. It's kind of crazy right now, especially weather-wise. And if you're bored tomorrow night, come hang out with me and Stace, because we're gonna have a good time. And we're going to give you a lot of tips. We're going to show you a lot of bolos and give you a lot of tips, because we found some amazing stuff with a little bit of ingenuity, digging, and a little bit of luck too. So, Tina, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Roy, buddy, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little while. So
good to see you, man, and glad to be here. It's fun.
Yeah, I'll have you back soon. Everyone, have a good night, and we'll see you soon.